played Pepper in the Hudson Valley's premiere of Mamma Mia at the Phoenicia Playhouse, and are a recurring cast member of the Trans Voices Cabaret at the Duplex in New York City. Offstage, Salem is in the process of releasing their first album, an entirely acoustic blend of original songs and covers with the goal of only using one-take recordings. You can learn more about them at salemcorwin.com.
Our next song is one completely devoid of words but fully rich in emotion. The song, Smile at Me, was released in 2010 by Aboriginal Canadian cellist Chris Dirksen. As spoken on chrisdirksen.virb.com, this classically trained cellist and composer braids the traditional and contemporary, weaving her classical background and her indigenous ancestry together with new school electronics to create genre-defying music. Chris uses she and her pronouns publicly, but has used the term two-spirit to describe her gender identity. Simply put, the term two-spirit or two-spirited has been used by Native populations to describe an individual who does not solely identify as male or female. Two-spirit culture precedes our colonized white Western, Canadian, and European ideologies of binary gender, and was largely erased from Western culture and vocabulary by force when white settlers sought to, in quotes, civilize Native American populations in the days of early and then not so early America. Which is interesting because people like to say that this transgender thing is a trend, but it's been around since written language existed and even before that, which is really beautiful. If you're interested in learning more about what it means to be a two-spirit person, bear in mind that when researching cultural phrases that belong to groups you're not a member of, it is important to find information written by those groups, not just about them. With this said, I present to you Smile at Me by Chris Dirksen. That was Chris Dirksen's Smile at Me. In a shift of genre, these next two songs are going to play back to back. They're operatic pieces performed by violinist and opera singer Tona Brown. In 2014, Tona Brown became the first transgender woman of color, and I think transgender person of color ever, to perform at Carnegie Hall. Since then, she has performed for a huge range of audiences, including former President Barack Obama. Tona wants the world, and especially LGBT and transgender youth, to know that anything is possible with a dream and hard work. This live recording was taken in 2016 at a New York City concert called Declaration of Sentiments, the Remix. Pay close attention to her brief opening speech. In this recording, Tona speaks about the violence against transgender women of color in America. Since 2016, this violence has only increased. Due to murder rates, the current lifespan of a black transgender woman in America is 35 years. With everything going on in our world today, I am eternally grateful for performers like Tona Brown, for people who are letting their light shine and leading the way to a brighter and more inspiring future by living their truths. Here is Tona Brown performing two operatic pieces at Declaration of Sentiments, the Remix.
Thank you all very much for having me. I want to dedicate this performance to the fallen trans women who have been murdered since the beginning of January. We are now up to 22 transgender women and 19 of them of color who have been murdered. So I want to dedicate this performance to them. I also want to sing a song by Margaret Bond. So I'm actually going to sing two songs. One is entitled I Too, and the other one is entitled Dream Variation. Thank you very much, and I hope you enjoy.
To
Thank you.
Those last two songs were performed by Tona Brown at the 2016 Declaration of Sentiments, the Remix concert in New York City. Before that, we heard Smile at Me by Chris Dirksen on cello and Give Me One Reason by Tracy Chapman.
Okay, up next we're going to play a recording of a poem Salem wrote called Becomes You.
That dress becomes you. Your long hair becomes you. That boy on your arm becomes you. Becomes this is what's right. Becomes why? Becomes never mind. Your quietness becomes you. Your good behavior becomes you. Your shoulder-length haircut becomes you. Becomes take your shirt off when you enter the dance studio. Becomes your leotard should be enough. Becomes you should be enough. Becomes please go. Becomes you will never be enough. Becomes you. Cosplay becomes your escape into a world where your bones no longer bind you to the female form. Becomes hide, becomes stay alive. Becomes drive to no longer run from what's eating your insides. Your short hair becomes you. Those poems become you. That girl on your arm becomes you. Becomes heartbeats, becomes your music, becomes is this what happiness is? Happiness becomes you. Becomes wait, my bones are still broken. Becomes never mind. A kid at a playground chides, long-haired boy in the sweet way that small children do. Becomes embers ignite. Becomes no, I'm a girl. Becomes kid, you should know I should go. Becomes run. Anxiety becomes you. You go to travel by train to new places, new troubles to take on a path. Becomes why don't I fit inside my body? Oh. Becomes hiding men's clothing, becomes cut my own hair, becomes a new little kid at a barbecue asking, are you a boy or a girl? Becomes words that come out a little too fast that say, I'm whatever I want to be. The kid becomes a constant companion at my side, becomes pride, becomes, is this what happiness is? Yes! That suit becomes you.
That was wonderful, Salem. You want to talk a little bit about the poem?
Yeah, so I wrote this, I think 2 years ago during college. It's when I was starting to discover more about my gender identity. And I think I actually was late to a dance class or something and had to sit out. And so I wrote this on the sidelines of that dance class. And it was just a big feeling dump about how beautiful it is to... I love plays on words. I've been doing spoken word poetry for years, and I love wordplay, and I just wanted to do a thought dump in prose about how beautiful it is to reclaim yourself in an identity that doesn't match what you were assigned at birth.
That's wonderful. Before you perform a couple of your original songs for us, I'd like to ask you a little bit more about yourself. What pronouns do you use and why?
Cool. So I use they, them, or he, him. Basically anything but she is awesome. They as a singular pronoun. You know, I grew up in a school system that told us that we weren't allowed to use that it wasn't grammatically correct. And I just think it's so beautiful because they, them pronouns singularly have been around in the human language for centuries and centuries and centuries, and it's been so wiped from our culture because of prejudice and fear, and a lot of also violent white colonialism has kind of washed it out of all of our languages, and I think it's really beautiful that it's starting to come back. So I use they, them in a singular sense, and he, and yeah, that's what it means to me. I love it. Yeah. Very
cool. Where do you draw inspiration from for your songwriting, and how long have you been writing songs?
Oh gosh. I've always wanted to write songs, but I wasn't always able to. I started writing songs, I believe in 2014, my last year of high school. I couldn't play any instruments until about 3 years ago, so it was just singing. I was crazy about poetry before that, and I was just like, oh, you know, I can put this poetry to music, and it'll totally be an awesome song. And I very quickly discovered that that is very much not the case. So here I am, 5 years later, And I'm finally starting to compile songs I'm really proud about. So where do I draw inspiration from? Anything that would inspire the human spirit to put words on paper in the form of poetry is what I will write songs about. I've always started as a poet, and if something moves me to the point of wanting to write it, not as like a stiff diary entry, but as a poem, as the human language becoming fluidity, then I will write music about it. It's so cathartic and so beautiful, and I just love it.
Wonderful. If someone were ever to make a movie about your life, which actor would play you?
I think about this a lot. I've actually been fantasizing about my biographical movie since I was probably 10. And the actor has always changed, but right now I'm a really huge fan of, I think it's Lackler. I'm so sorry. The actor who plays Theo Putnam on The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina on Netflix. Has the hair I had when I was younger, is beautiful and androgynous and really good comedic timing, just a little goblin. I love them so much. Also uses them pronouns. And I would love to have... I think it's really important to have trans actors playing trans people, and I would love, if there's ever a movie about me, Locker, I hope you're listening, to play me. Yeah, thanks.
That was wonderful. Thank you. The time now is 11:17. You are listening to WIOX Community Radio, live and local in the Catskill Mountains at 91.3 FM and MTC Cable Channel 20, and everywhere at WIOXradio.org, where it's easy to donate if you like what you hear. You can also get WIOX on any smart device through the TuneIn or FM radio apps. You're listening to Femme Central with Marilu Corwin and guest co-host Salem Corwin. And now... Salem is going to do a couple of their original songs on the air for you.
Really quick talk about that. Thank you. That was a really good correction. A really good way to correct yourself when someone misgenders you is not to make a big deal out of it or be like, oh, I'm so sorry, or, I need time, because it's not about you. The most smooth and graceful thing you can do is just correct yourself. Say, she said, oh, sorry, they said, and go on. So thank you for that. Totally purposeful live lesson, Mom. Okay.
You're so welcome.
Oh, thank you. Okay, so this is a song I wrote called On My Way Back Home. And I went to college at Buffalo State in Buffalo, New York. And it's about 7 hours away, or 6.5 by train, if it's not too delayed. I'm saying a lot, I'm sorry. And it's basically about the things that I miss when I go back and forth between the two. So this is On My Way Back Home. I'm going to take my headphones off for this. I hope that it's okay. Creaking trees, mullein roots, patchy driveway, muddy boots. These are the things that I miss the most when I'm on my way back to Buffalo. Spot coffee, snowy days. Oh, sorry. I'm kind of nervous, sorry. I'm gonna back that up. Spot coffee, snowy days. Smiles on friends' faces, going to new places. These are the things that I miss the most when I'm on my way back home. Fresh baked pies, falling leaves, star-filled skies. These are the things that we all miss when we're under different skies. Staying up all night to sing, making stupid jokes out of every little thing. These are the ways that I feel free. It's how we know we're family. Creaking trees, mullein roots, patchy driveway, muddy boots. These are the things that I miss the most when I'm on my way back home. Yeah. Yeah, so that was on my way back home. As you can hear, I'm kind of nervous. It's been a hot minute since I performed live, but I have a very forgiving audience. My mother, Marilu Corwin. Thank you. And this next song is called Be Safe. I wrote this, I believe, in 2016, maybe 2017, actually for a school assignment. It is about the fear of being murdered as a trans and queer person, and also the intersectionality of being Jewish and transgender, which I am. The lines, some of the lyrics are about how Jewish graveyards have been being defaced and Jewish gravestones have been being broken, and it's kind of, this is about trying to find a home amidst multiple marginalized identities. I just wanna be safe. Not a joke, not a prize, not a paradox. Folded, tucked away in socks you put on when you're feeling brave. I don't want to mind the silence, but it can feel the same as violence when it beats us away from our beds and our lives. I just want to go home every night. I want to grow gardens and families and chances and dreams and to kiss my mother good morning, but I'm so afraid I won't be able to stay since you put us in the ground and then broke our graves. When I die, will I finally have a place to lay? I just want to scream. My body has been so dang full for so long with the lead that you left in our lungs to drown out your shame and your dread. I am not a weapon. Please bother to look a little closer if you can. See past all the blood from your hands. I just want to go home every night. I want to grow gardens and families and chances and dreams and to kiss my mother good morning, but I'm so afraid I won't be able to stay since you put us in the ground and then broke our graves. When I die, will I finally have a place to lay? Ooh, if I could take the skin off, you know I would. If I let your holy words touch me, would that finally burn the sin off? Nothing new, burn my body up, what if it's too late? By the time you pick sides, you don't want to see her unless you can choose where we die. But when the country's at stake, my life ain't worth pennies and dimes. I just want to go home every night. I want to grow gardens and families and chances and dreams and to kiss my mother good morning, but I'm so afraid I won't be able to stay since you put us in the ground and then broke our graves when I die. Will I finally have a place to lay?
Thank you so much, Salem. That was wonderful. And that was an original tune, Be Safe, performed live in the WIOX studio by our guest co-host today, Salem Corwin. Before that, they performed another original song, On My Way Back Home. And at the top of the set, we played a recording of one of Salem's original poems called Becomes You. You're listening to Femme Central with Marilu Corwin on WIOX Community Radio.
WIOX is supported by Margaretville Hospital, a member of the Westchester Medical Center Health Network, a critical access hospital offering comprehensive medical services, including emergency, cardiology, imaging, rehab, and a retail pharmacy. 845-586-1800. WIOX is supported by Columbia Green Media, publishers of the Daily Mail newspaper, from Ravenna to Palinville, from the Rip Van Winkle Bridge to the Catskill Creek. The Daily Mail print edition, website, and social media presence are designed to bring the communities of the Catskills timely news, sports, and event information. More at thedailymail.net.
This is Femme Central with Marilu Corwin and guest co-host Salem Corwin.
Shifting forward from classical to contemporary, this next song is one of my most favorite songs ever written. True Trans Soul Rebel was written by punk rock legend Laura Jane Grace during the earliest stages of her transition and was officially released by her former band Against Me in 2014. My discovery of Laura Jane Grace and her journey to happiness as a transgender woman became in the coming out article that was published in the 2012 issue of Rolling Stone magazine. It was in that article that I read the words gender dysphoria for the very first time, and that term stuck with me for years until I discovered my own gender. Gender dysphoria is a term used to describe the feeling of disconnect that many trans people feel between their perceived, assigned gender at birth versus who they are spiritually. To learn more about this incredible woman, Laura Jane Grace, I would recommend checking out her book titled Tranny. It has some intense subject matter, but it's an excellent and very personal narrative. Before we press play, I have a general trigger warning for this song. There is a reference to suicidal tendencies about halfway through. This particular version of Laura Jane Grace's ballad was recorded live and outdoors, featuring Miley Cyrus on backup vocals.
Dressed up and nowhere to go, walking the streets all alone. Another night, wishing you could forget, making yourself up as you go along. Who's gonna take you home tonight? Who's gonna take you home? Who's gonna take you home tonight? Who's gonna take you home? Rebel. Who's gonna take you home tonight? Who's gonna take you home? Who's gonna take you home tonight? Who's gonna take you home? Who's gonna take you home tonight? Who's gonna take you home? Does God bless your transsexual hearts? True trans soul rebel. True trans soul rebel.
That was Laura Jane Grace performing True Trans Soul Rebel with Miley Cyrus on backup vocals. I realized that I did not script in some very important information because I come from a place within the trans and LGBT community where I kind of forget that certain things aren't ingrained. So when I say the words transgender woman, I'm referring to someone who is assigned male at birth. If I'm referring, whoa, off script people, this is the real deal. If I'm saying transgender man, that is someone who is assigned female at birth and has transitioned into a male presence that better assigns with them. So Laura Jane Grace was assigned male at birth and came out in a time when this was pre Caitlyn Jenner, difficult time, and she's just killing it. She has a new band called The Devouring Mothers, which I so badly want to see. So yeah, check out more of Laura Jane Grace's music. I love her so much. Okay. The year after True Trans Soul Rebel was published, Girls Like Girls was released online by openly lesbian artist Hayley Kiyoko. Another one of my favorite songs. This anthem was released only months after the historic decision to legalize gay marriage all across America. It was really recently, wasn't it? Wow. And immediately propelled Hayley Kiyoko into stardom. Kiyoko, a proud Asian lesbian woman, is only 27 years old, and her fans have already crowned her as, in quotations, lesbian Jesus. Her passion for the community extends beyond our pop culture expectations of American LGBT people, skinny, white, and clearly gendered. Another one of her songs, One Bad Night, centers around a young black man who befriends a transgender woman after rescuing her from street attackers. I hope that y'all enjoy Girls Like Girls, a song that also ultimately changed my life, by Hayley Kiyoko.
Stealing kisses from your missus doesn't make you freak out. Got you fussing, got you worried, scared to let your guard down. Boys, boys, tell the neighbors I'm not sorry if I'm breaking walls down, building your girl's second story, ripping all your floors out. Saw your face, heard your name, gotta get with you. Girls like boys do, nothing new. Isn't this what we came? Gotta get with you. Girls like boys.
That was Girls Like Girls by Hayley Kiyoko. My next song for you was released earlier this year by British indie pop star Dodie Clark. I had a difficult time choosing which of her songs to debut here because every time I play any of her songs, I get sucked into listening to her entire discography. Dodie has truly become an icon of bisexual womanhood and a powerful advocate for mental health awareness. Dodie suffers from dissociative disorder, which you can learn more about by watching Dodie's YouTube video called I Have a Condition That Makes Me Feel Like I'm Dreaming All the Time. I've chosen to play you Monster, a song about becoming a villain in the eyes of a former loved one. If you enjoy the song, I would highly recommend setting aside some time to watch and listen to more of the soothing, spellbinding music of Dodie Clark.
Tell me again about how it hurts being awfully loud for an introvert. Get out of my room. Smile wiped clean. Isn't it weird to be so mean? I'm guessing that I've grown horns. I guess I'm human no more. I can tell I've rotted in your brain. Oh, how easily passion twists. You think I'm a crazy bitch. I craft my words to fit your head, 'cause no one listens to the dead. So maybe I will talk to you the only way I know how to. I've said my speech through sharpened teeth. You break the rules and spikes grow from your skin. Please let the devil in. A meter apart, we blankly stare. We shout in our heads, are you still in there? Well, this ends bad then. We knew it would, so we won't eat our words, 'cause they don't taste good. I'm guessing that I've grown horns. I guess I'm human no more. I can tell I've rotted in your brain. Oh, how easily passion twists. You think I'm a crazy bitch. 1,000 words are left unsaid, 'cause no one listens to the dead. So maybe I will talk to you the only way I know how to. I've said my speech through sharpened teeth. You break the rules and spikes grow from your skin. Oh, I think it might be worth a try. Oh, am I ready to let this die? A monster's here. You plug your ears, but hey, you might just listen to it sing. Please let the devil in. I've seen this before. High energy at the top of your list, adoring every move. And my rank is sinking, but we're both guilty of black or white thinking. Look at my red eyes, they look pale. All of his scars, they're looking more like scales. Two ugly creatures, two sinister creatures, blind to the past like a couple of monsters. Just a couple of monsters. So maybe I will talk to you the only way I know how to. Said your speech through sharpened teeth. You break the rules and spikes grow from your skin. Oh, I think it might be worth a try. Oh, am I ready to let this die? A monster's here. You plug your ears, but hey, you might just listen to it sing. Please let the devil in.
That was Monster. Oh, sorry, there's a little. That was Monster. Beep boop boop bop beep boop. Mr. Krabs. Okay, that was Monster by British pop sensation Dodie Clark. Before that, we played Girls Like Girls by Hayley Kiyoko and True Trans Soul Rebel, performed by Laura Jane Grace with Miley Cyrus on backup vocals.
The time is 11:44. You are listening to WIOX Community Radio, live and local in the Catskill Mountains at 91.3 FM and MTC Cable Channel 20, and everywhere at WIOXradio.org, where it's easy to donate if you like what you hear. You can also get WIOX on any smart device through the TuneIn or FM radio apps. You're listening to Femme Central with Marilu Corwin and guest co-host Salem Corwin.
Up next, I would love to play you some Shawnee. Shawnee, by the way. Also known as She King, Shawnee is a Mohawk two-spirit singer and songwriter who actually began her career as a Shania Twain impersonator. Shawnee has gone on to perform for the Disney Channel and has made a name for herself in Canada by using music to showcase her roots and explore genres of soul, R&B, pop, and alternative music, as quoted from her website. The song I've chosen to play you today is called Warrior Heart. Shawnee released this single in 2017 to bring awareness to Canada's suicide crisis. I would also like to note that every official purchase of the song directly contributes to the We Matter campaign in support of empowering Indigenous youth in Canada and to ending Aboriginal youth suicide.
Young blood, are you alright? I know that cry, oh, your wicked scars, they
That was Warrior Heart by Shawnee, aka She King. Our next song, Pink Joy, is sung by another one of my favorite artists, Rhett Douglas. I first discovered the music of Rhett Douglas midway through college while scouring the internet for queer and lesbian music, which a few years ago wasn't super common. Back then, Douglas was going by a different name, so don't be confused if you look up Rhett Douglas and see it published under 2 different first names. My first exposure to Douglas was a one-take video recording on a camera taken outdoors at night, and it changed my life. Many of her songs describe what I have assumed to be her coming-out journey, from being disowned to rejecting the teachings of her conservative and misogynistic church. I hope that you enjoy the siren call vocals of Rhett Madison in Pink Joy.
Spend my Sunday afternoons braiding your hair. I wanna count all the freckles on your back and kiss that smile you wear. But when he touches you, you feel empty. You feel nothing for that boy. And when you laugh at me, it makes me happy, and I feel nothing but joy. Pink joy. I wanna spend all my nights on the roof, drinking cheap booze and singing with you. I wanna count all the stars in the sky to know the wishes it will take to make you leave that guy. But when he touches you, you feel empty. You feel nothing for that boy. And when you laugh at me, it makes me happy, and I feel nothing but joy. Pink joy. Ooh, yeah. Ooh, 19, still wearing band-aids on my knees, but I'm more than another mess you don't need, and I'll clean up my act just to be a pink joy. I wanna spend my Sunday afternoons braiding your hair. I wanna count all the freckles on your back and kiss that smile you wear.
That was Pink Joy by Rhett Douglas. The next song I have to play for you is Make Me Feel by Janelle Monae. Janelle Monae is an out and proud black queer female performer and actor. Monae identifies herself as pansexual, a word that describes someone who is gender blind when it comes to romantic attraction. Beyond her refreshing pop and funk music, Monae is also known for her entirely black and white wardrobe. In a 2012 interview, she said, "When I started my musical career, I was a maid. I used to clean houses. My mother was a proud janitor, my stepfather who raised me like his very own worked at the post office, and my father was a trash man. They all wore uniforms, and that's why I stand here today in my black and white, and I wear my uniform to honor them." Without further ado, this is Make Me Feel by Janelle Monae.
Baby, don't make me spell it out for you. All of the feelings that I got for you can't be explained, but I can try for you. Yeah, baby, don't make me spell it out for you. You keep on asking me the same questions. Why? And second guessing all my intentions. Should know by the way I use my compression that you got the answers to my confessions. It's like I'm powerful with a little bit of tender and emotional sexual bender. Mess me up, yeah, but no one does it better. There's nothing better. That's just the way you make me feel. 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 So good, so good, so good, so real. That's just the way you make me feel. That's just the way you make me feel. That's just the way you make me feel. You know I love you, so please don't stop it. You got me right here in your jean pocket, right now, laying your body on the shag carpet. Oh, you know I love it, so please don't stop it. It's like I'm powerful with a little bit of tender and emotional sexual bender. Mess me up, yeah, but no one does it better. There's nothing better. That's just the way you make me feel. 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 So good, so good, so good, so real. That's just the way you make me feel. That's just the way you make me feel. That's just the way you make me feel. Oh, that's just the way that I feel now, baby. Good God, I can't help it. Hey, that's just the way that I feel. Yeah, please, I can't help it. It's like I'm powerful with a little bit of tender and emotional sexual bender. Mess me up, yeah, but no one does it better. There's nothing better. Damn, that's just the way you make me feel. That's just the way you make me feel. That's just the way you make me feel. So good, so good, so good, so good. That's just the way you make me feel. 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 You make me feel so good, so good, so good, so good, so good. Yeah, so good, so good, so good. That's just the way you make me feel.
That was Janelle Monae singing Make Me Feel. Before that we heard Pink Joy by Rhett Douglas and Warrior Heart by Shawnee, aka She King. And now, ladies and gentlemen, and those of you who are none of the above, the last song I would have loved to play for us would have been Somewhere by B. Steadwell, but it appears that my ad-libbing has taken out too much time, and we are going to have to fade out on Chris Dirkson's War Cry Movement 2. Sometimes is a queer love song for folks redefining love, gender, and partnership, and to me, it is one of the sweetest and softest songs on this good gay earth. So, I highly recommend that after this last song, you search what would have been the end of the show, which is Sometimes by B. Steadwell, B-E-S-T-E-A-D-W-E-L-L. It's been a wonderful time on the station, this Gender Blender special, but the time is ticking on the Gender Blender time machine, and I have to head back to 2019. I hope that you have a beautiful rest of your day, and happy Pride Month.